Welcome back to that handicapping show, live today at Keeneland. I'm Claire Novak, joined by Frank Angst. And Frank, we had a great week last week on the handicapping show. You picked the straight try in the Wood Memorial. I picked the try in the Santa Anita Derby. Yours paid a lot more than mine did, thanks to Wicked Strong. But happy to have some winners getting the Derby, getting a little closer to the Derby here.
Yeah, certainly an impressive performance by California Chrome. Looks like the horse you have to start with when you're handicapping this year's Kentucky Derby. But we have two more Kentucky Derby prep races for this week.
That's right. We're going to talk about the Toyota Bluegrass Stakes, run right here over the Poly track at Keeneland, 1 1/8 miles. And then we'll talk about the Arkansas Derby out at Oaklawn Park. Same distance, but on the dirt. Frank, in this race, it's kind of interesting wide open betting race because you have a lot of horses who are doing things they haven't necessarily done before. Whether it's Bobby's Kitten, they've been talking leading up to this race about wanting to be able to get him to rate, but he's such a speed type of horse. You've got some horses coming in here who haven't tried the Poly track or who haven't been on it for a long time. So what are your thoughts about the field?
Yeah, I mean, certainly you have to have respect for any horse that Ken Ramsey starts at this track. He always brings horses that seem to be in peak form, but Bobby's Kitten is a horse I'm going to go against here. I just see other horses that are just as fast, if not faster than him early, and I think that's going to compromise him. The horse that I did land on is Gala Award. As usual, I like to look for horses that have run steadily and haven't run their big breakthrough race yet as a 3-year-old. And this horse qualifies on those accounts. Hasn't done anything wrong, ran second in his debut. Has won two races since then, won the Palm Beach Stakes. Had a big workout March 30th. That to me looks like an improving horse. Can't go wrong with Todd Pletcher. A little concerned about the outside post, but at 1 1/8 miles, you do at least get some time to get the position that you want on this track.
All right, and this is a horse who in his past races has been pretty up close to the pace, but it doesn't look like he necessarily has to set it. So maybe he'll be in that kind of second tier of horses and have a chance to make his move.
I'm hoping a tracking type trip here. Johnny Velasquez will be able to see how things develop to his inside and hopefully get into a good tracking position off of some of the early speed in here.
All right, well, I had a little bit of a hard time coming up with a horse that I like in here just because I'm so focused on horses with dirt form, horses that are going to go on to the Derby. This race really doesn't do a huge amount for me, but you do have to view it as an individual betting race. One horse that I really like and have liked through the year, but he just hasn't run that big race for me yet, is Coastline. Mark Casse has been on fire here at the meet. Stuart Elliott is riding great. And this is a horse who really put in an excellent performance in the Spiral. When he went back to Poly track, he was third by a really tough neck in that blanket photo finish with Wheat Miss Artie and Harry's Holiday, who also comes back in here. I like this horse because he broke his maiden here at Keeneland on the Poly track and did so very easily. And we know that he likes the surface. He had a little bit of a hard time. Mark said he wasn't training that well at Oaklawn, where he ran third in the Smarty Jones. He ran fourth in the Southwest. So he hasn't been running that terribly, but like you said, he just hasn't had his big race. My only concern with him is he has been running consistently this season. It's not like he's had a chance to have a break. So a couple of others that I looked at in here, Medal Count, who's getting flipped back from the Transylvania Stakes, which he won with an impressive rail move. Robbie Alvarado gets the mount back for Dale Romans. And anytime that a trainer does something like that with a horse, you just have to think, wow, they really want to get this horse into the Derby and they really like him. So the only other one I'd keep an eye on is Dance with Fate coming in from California, because the only bad race he ever ran was the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and that was on dirt, which he doesn't seem to like.
Possibly a price horse that I'm going to have on my ticket is Harry's Holiday, also coming out of the Spiral. I think this is the speed of the race, and he's faster than Bobby's Kitten early. I think he needs to rate a little bit more than he did in the Spiral, and he could be dangerous on the front end here.
Alrighty, let's move on to the Arkansas Derby. And this is a tough race for me to pick, but it's a little bit easier in terms of looking at horses who are going to go on to Churchill Downs. You've got Tapiture in here, who's probably going to end up being the favorite. You've got a couple of other horses coming out of the Rebel Stakes. Ride on Curlin, who was third. Strong Mandate, who was fourth. What are your thoughts about this field?
Well, Tapiture's been my Kentucky Derby horse. I was impressed with the Rebel. I think he ran the best. I think he was the best horse in the field that day. Had some bad luck, some bad racing luck. I look for a big race here. I think he ran a big race last time in actuality, but I think he's going to be able to replicate that here and put a nice win together before the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, the way that he's won his races out there, he's just been so impressive. It's really hard to go against him, and the only reason I am going to go against him is because You picked him, so I should try to pick somebody else, and also he's probably going to be the favorite, so I should try to maybe go a little bit against the favorite if I can. I'm going to go back to my boy Strong Mandate, who, you know, I'm really hoping that he can mentally get it back together here. This is a horse who's shown so much talent, but whenever he runs into traffic trouble, he just seems to kind of hoe back mentally. And in the Rebel Stakes, I was there, and you watch him when he gets bumped by Ride on Curlin, he kind of just stops really even trying, whereas Tapiture, when he got, you know, ran into his situation of traffic trouble, kind of bulled on and ran even harder. So for my horse, Strong Mandate, you know, hey, maybe he gets away on the lead, or maybe something happens where he's not in any traffic trouble and he really gets a chance to show his talent. And then I'm throwing Riding on Curlin in there because he runs third every single time. So what are you supposed to do? You can't leave him out. What do you think about the Baffert horse? Because that's the one I want to mention.
Bayern is a horse that's been a horse of interest for quite a few people for some time. The new Derby setup and the new way horses are trained, he really needs to do well here just to get a spot in a Derby field. Of course, Bob Baffert has done well at Oaklawn Park previously. For this race and looking at it, I just don't see quite enough experience there.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have some challenge early, and if he goes on with it, I'd say he'll be a big Kentucky Derby horse to consider, but I'm not seeing it this time. Commissioner is a horse I think is a threat here. I'm going to put him on my tickets as well. I think he could wake up here.
Alrighty, Bayern won his allowance race last time out, 15 lengths, but I don't know if he has enough to get it done. We'll see on Saturday. Wishing you all the best of luck, whether you're playing Keeneland or Oaklawn or both. Great cards of racing. We'll take charge on the undercard at Oaklawn, and a bunch of great stakes here as well, and Wisedan running on Friday. So thanks for watching the Handicapping Show. For Frank Angst, I'm Claire Novak.